Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. I'm going to share with you today a single word that if you'll use and you'll use it right, it'll absolutely boost your sales. This is not hype. This is for real. And I'm going to show you the science behind it starting right now. Okay, so let's talk about sales. It's getting tighter out there. It's getting more and more difficult. So you're going to have to improve your game. And this means including psychology in your processes, choosing the right words, choosing the right visuals, and giving your customer the right experience that will lead them to wanting to do business with you. And during these tough economical times, it's not that easy. So I want to talk about a book called Go for No. Now there's a buzz on that right now, especially in our group, in our HVAC Mastermind group. Everybody's talking about, hey, I went for no and I raised my I raised my ticket. I went for no and I sold this super system. And I don't want to take the thunder away from the book. You should go read it. It's a quick read. It's real thin. But fundamentally, it's telling you that you're not going to sell anything that you don't offer. And so you continue to offer until the customer says, no, I don't need that. And then you actually have maximized that opportunity, both for yourself, trying to make a sale, and for your customer, trying to get a good quality system that's right for them, right? And so go for no is the premise. All right, let's get to the main point. When you sell, in fact, let me do a little quick screen share here just to make the point. If you use a selling system kind of like this, so you've got a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. There's nothing wrong with this. In fact, this is the system that we're actually sharing with our students that do our pricing programs and pricing calculators and things like that. But there is one thing wrong with it. And that's really what I wanted to come back to. If you're giving a name to a category, the idea is to build value. There was an expression back in the 70s, carried into the 80s, and they still use it today. This is the Cadillac of air conditioning. Or this is the Cadillac of furniture, right? And that was a way of saying the best, because once upon a time, Cadillac was the best. Well, that since evolved into this is the Mercedes of heating and air. This is the Rolls Royce of air conditioning. But here's something I bet you never thought of. Maybe you've never thought about the customer not relating to that because they think to themselves, I'm not interested in a Rolls Royce. I don't drive that level of car. That's a waste of money. I would never own a Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to invest in something that's right for me. When your customer sees these labels, such as the Mercedes or the Rolls-Royce or the Cadillac, did you realize that there's an identity association with that? And until they can identify with something, they're not truly compelled to move forward. Now comes the substitute. So I'm talking to a young business owner just this morning, and he's a West Coast guy, Southern California. You know who you are. And we were talking about a sale that he had actually gotten and the way that he had gone through the process. And it reminded me of how important this particular technique is. So here comes the word. Are you ready? Let's get on target. All right. Instead of telling your customer, hey, I've got a good, better, best, instead of starting here and continuing to try to work up until they say no, let's start with the very best. But let's use a little different verbal approach. So if I'm coming into your house and we're looking at the situation, here's what I'm going to do to start with my best. I'm going to use the word, drumroll please, ideal. Okay, before you click off, hear me out. So, Mr. Homeowner, we've got the situation. Definitely we need to do something to fix this. Let's talk about the ideal way to do it. The ideal way to do this would be to remove this duct system and have this, instead of having this duct system, having had this other duct system with proper airflow. It's made for the new equipment in their airflow. The ideal situation would be this with the sound levels. that with the energy consumption. This was your indoor air quality. The ideal situation for you would be this. Now, the reason that's important is it establishes your very best in a way that it doesn't conflict with their identity. I don't need your platinum system, but I may need your ideal solution for my home, for my situation. Get it? So if you'll try this on your next sales call, on your next service call, if you're going into a house and you are doing a detailed job and you're finding multiple components that really need to be upgraded, you may tell the customer, well, the ideal solution wouldn't be just to change the capacitor. The ideal solution would be to go ahead and replace all the starting components, including the compressor wires. That way, we know they would never fail again, right? Then you sell your starting components bundle, which might be hard start kit, contactor, compressor leads, maybe even a whip, right? Whatever that is for your scenario. But if you'll do this one favor, do Pete a favor and try this for the next 3 service calls or the next 3 sales calls. And when you come into your customer, talk about your best system first, not as a platinum, not as a Cadillac, not as a Rolls Royce, but as the ideal solution for this home would be this. And then start to take stuff away as you go down in alternative options and prices and efficiencies and other different metrics. You continue to take away and move away from the ideal towards the less ideal, which can still function and it may be better for your customer, but let them choose that. Remember, you'll never sell anything you don't offer. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Hope this makes sense. Go out there and make a sale. Bye.